Okay, good morning, everybody. We are holding today is Chodesh Shvat. We are holding on Thursday, which is the Chamishi, the fifth reading, which starts on chapter 8, verse number 7. V'saru hatzvadim. Here we are in the middle of the plague, the second plague, the plague of frogs. And Moshe Rabbeinu, Pharaoh asked Moses to get rid of the tzaidim, and he said, he told him, "Machar v'sara tzaidim imach beitecha v'adecha." They will get rid of the frogs from you, from your house, from your servant's house, from your people. Only rak ba'yor t'sha'ayna will only stay in the Nile. Verse number 8. Vayetze Moshe v'adamei impali, so Moshe and I left the Pharaoh. Vayitzak Moshe Hashem, and God, Moshe Rabbeinu cried out to God on Tzvaidim concerning the frogs that are in Egypt, Asher Sham Lefare, which he sent to the Pharaoh. So Rashi says what he means by Vayitza miyad, immediately, that he asked God that they should get rid of them ASAP. Verse number 9. Vayas Hashem Kedvar Moshe, and God did what Moshe asked. And all the frogs died, from all the fields, from the house and the courtyards, it all died. Verse 10, and they gathered them into many heaps and heaps of frogs. And the land stank from the stench of the dead frogs. Rashi's chamorim is piles, as the Targum translates it. Verse number 11. So the Pari saw that there was a relief. And he strengthened the heart in his heart. And he didn't listen to them. As God said, that his heart will be hardened. Verse number 12. And God said to Moshe, Emer el Aaron, tell Aaron, let him reach out with his hand, with his stick, and let him strike the dust of the land. It's going to turn into lice in the whole land of Egypt. So Rashi says, dust like the frogs and dust like the blood. Also the kinim, it was inappropriate for the dust to be smitten through Moshe, since because the dust, the earth, protected him. He hid the Egyptian that he killed. And that's why, again, you don't hurt the one that helps you. And therefore, God asked that it shouldn't be done through Moshe, it should be done through Aaron. Verse number 13. They did this. Yet Aaron stretched out his hand, Mateo, with the stick. He struck the dust of the earth. And lice came upon in the humans and animals. The whole entire land was full of lice. This is one of the reasons why Yaakov didn't want to be buried in Egypt. Verse 14. So these guys, these magicians, they try to do it with their sticks. They try to do this trick too, to take out kinim, like they did with the frogs, like they did it with the blood. And they couldn't do it. There was lice upon man and beast. So now she says to create them, another version of them, to bring them out from someplace. But they couldn't do it. Why not? Because a demon has no power over a creature smaller than a kishaira, like a smaller than a barley corn. And since kinim are smaller than a barley corn, they could not accomplish this trick to even in sorcery. Verse number 15. So these Chatumim said to Pari, Etzbelekimhi, this is the hand of God. But the Pharaoh hardened his heart. He didn't listen. Kashadibur Hashem, as God said. So Rashi, what is this? This plague is not through sorcery. They said maybe the first and second one, but this plague is from God. This is not normal. Verse 16. So God said to Moshe, Hashkim Abayke, get up in the morning. And stand before the Pharaoh. He's going out to the water, like he does every day. And tell him, this is what God says, Shlach Ami, send my nation, V'yavduni, let them come and serve me. Verse 17, because if you're not going to send my people, I'm going to send in you and your servants and your nation, in your houses, I'm going to send wild animals. Wild animals will be filled in Israel, in Egypt. And also in the land which is upon, where they live upon it. So now she says, Mishaleach, Megarera, incite against you. The tooth of the beast I will incite. So it's an incitement. I'm gonna awaken up the animals to be incited against you. So Rashi, what is a mixture of wild animals, which includes all species of wild beasts, snakes and scorpions, in a mixture. And they were destroyed among them, among the Egyptians. This is the reason given for the matter in Haggadah for each plague. Why was this one and why was that one? Following a king war strategy, did it come upon the Egyptians according to the order of the kingdom when it besieges a city. First they kill the king's army, destroy the city's springs. Then they blow and sound the horns to frighten them and confuse them. Thus did the frogs croak, make noise. As it's stated in the Medrash Rabbah, goes through all the 10 plagues, how everything slowly but surely broke down Egypt. This is the way you break a Chassidus clipper, covering, the challenge. Verse 18. V'fleisi, in this plague, v'fleisi by Yemahu Eseres Goshen. In this fourth plague, I will separate on that day the land of Goshen. Asher Ami Omed Aleh, which my nation lives upon it. Levilte Yisram Oidev, in this plague, this mixture of wild animals will not come to Goshen. Lamanteda, so you will know, Kani Hashem Bekerev Haaretz, I am God in the midst of the earth. Now she says the word v'hiflesi comes from the word to separate, as you find it in different in Exodus and Deuteronomy. It means to separate. Lamanteda Kani Hashem Bekerev Haaretz. Rashi says, although my Shechina is in heaven, my decrees is fulfilled in the lower world. So I am here in this world as I am in the upper worlds. That finishes the Chumash of the day. We now go to the Tanya of the day. We are holding in chapter 18 of Tanya. And the Alter Rebbe continues to explain that in the aspect of the holy, where a neshama is a spiritual thing, spiritual entity, and it comes from the spiritual world. And many souls come from different levels in spiritual worlds, whether it comes from the highest level of spiritual world or it comes from the lowest level. But the Alter Rebbe says that ultimately there's a general rule, and the general rule is everything comes from wisdom. Kulam bechachma. So even though a soul might have come from a lower level into a malchus, as we say, And he only has the nefesh of Malchus, which is the lowest level of the soul of Malchus, which is the lowest level. Malchus is the lowest level of a sphira in each world, but everything is connected to Chachma of that world. So even if your neshama comes from the lowest world, Malchus of the lowest world, world of Asiya, and your neshama comes from Malchus, the kingship of the world of action. And in that world, it's only getting the nefesh of Malchus, which is the lowest level of Malchus. Ultimately, Malchus of the world of Asiya is connected to Chachma of the world of Asiya, which Chachma is automatically connected to Malchus of the world of Atzilus, which Malchus of the world of Atzilus is connected to Chachma of the world of Atzilus, which is connected to Malchus of the world of creation, Bria, which is connected to Chachma of the world of Bria, which is connected to Malchus of the world of Atzilus, which is connected to Chachma of the world of Atzilus. And Chachma is connected to Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So that means that ultimately, every level is all connected to Chachma of the world of emanation. And Chachma of the world of emanation has within it Ein Sof, infinity. And therefore, ultimately, this nefesh that comes from the Malchus, from the lowest level, the world of action, has within it Ein Sof. It might be hidden. It might be covered. It might be, you have to uncover it and it's still there. Because it's Ein Sof. Ein Sof means infinite. That's everywhere equally. So every Yid, it might be a spark, but he has within him the spark of God, Ein Sof. So the Alter Rebbe continues to explain this, because we really need to learn this and explain it to ourselves. This is a very important thing, to explain to ourselves this concept. That's why we learn. We don't learn only to explain to others. We learn to explain to ourselves. And the truth is, the more we understand it ourselves, the more you can teach it to others. So first, you need to understand it yourself. I need to understand it myself. And the more I understand it myself, the more it ultimately affects me. Because Chachma, as we said in the beginning, wisdom affects everything. So ultimately, wisdom comes down and affects Chachma, wisdom affects every level of my existence. Because everything comes from wisdom. So therefore, the more wisdom I have, the more it will transfer into every level of my being. So that's what we're holding. We're holding chapter 18, second part of chapter 18. Chachma, which we started to explain in chapter 3, is the source of intelligence and comprehension. As the Mishnah says, also Mishnah, if there's no wisdom, there's no understanding. Which is higher than understanding. Because understanding is the faculty of understanding the Chachma, the idea, and grasping it. But wisdom, wisdom is higher than understanding. Wisdom is above understanding. That's why we said in the third chapter of Tanya that in the third chapter of Tanya has within it, Chachma explains the concept of Chachma. That Chachma comes from Koyach Ma. What is it? So that's why wisdom, that's why another expression we have in Mishnah. If somebody says he has Chachma, he doesn't know what Chachma is. Because Chachma is L'mayla Mahavana. Chachma is above understanding. A person always needs to work on wisdom. Because if he understands it, already now it means he diminished the power of Chachma, he has to go higher. That's why you have to continue to go higher and higher in knowledge. A person cannot say, I got the subject. Not in Torah, at least. You can't say, I got the subject. There's always a deeper concept in every subject. It's a source for any understanding. This is the word Chachma, the Alter Rebbe says. Koyach ma, the faculty of unknown, potential. That's why it's also Chachma is wisdom, it's potential. Masha'ena musag umuven. So wisdom is something that's really not understood. Ve'ena nisa basaga adayim. It's not understood yet. It's the brainstorm. It's the genius that has to be brought down into understanding. That's why you can have an absent-minded professor. Somebody who's such a genius, but he cannot bring it down to words. He cannot bring it down into an understanding. It's not capable for him, maybe. Because he has great wisdom, but he doesn't have the capability, he doesn't have such great understanding. That's why in Chachma can be enclosed in Chachma Eid and Seif. What did we say before? That in Eid and Seif, infinity is enclosed in Chachma. Why Chachma? Because Chachma, wisdom, has the concept of wisdom. It is something of wisdom, but it's above understanding. And therefore, it fluctuates between the two worlds. The less machshava tvis beklal. Because how do we express what is Eid and Seif? What is infinity? How do we express? What does that mean? Infinity. It's a nice word. What means infinity? That a machshava, a thought, cannot comprehend it. That's how we express it in the prophets. Less machshava tvis beklal. Lo machshavaisai machshavaisechem. My thought is not your thought. So your thought cannot grasp my thought. Why? Because my thought is chachma. And chachma is not graspable totally. So as much as chachma you're going to grasp, there's always higher. And there's always deeper. And there's always the unknown. So therefore, all Jews, men, women, children, simple people, doesn't make a difference who they are. Great sages and simple Jews. We all believe in God. Why? Why do we all believe in God? We're all called believers, the sons of believers. Why? Because a belief is above comprehension and understanding. That's it. That's the concept of Amunah. I have belief because I don't understand it. It's not understandable, but it's my belief. If I understand it, I don't need belief. So Amunah is something that is higher than belief, than understanding, I mean. And the truth is, I have to work on my Amunah. The more I understand why I believe, the more I got to go deeper in Amunah. So Amunah has to be understood, ultimately, and that's why I continue to go higher, deeper in Amunah. So the Amunah I had today is not the Amunah of yesterday. Because Amunah is like Chachma. The wisdom I have today is not the wisdom of yesterday. The Amunah I have today is deeper than the Amunah I had yesterday. Because Amunah and Chachma are interlinked. They're both above understanding. The fool believes everything, but the clever man understands. That is, the fool, lacking understanding, grasps every subject through the medium of faith, while the clever man grasps it based on reason. However, this derogation of the fool for approaching every idea with faith can apply only where the subject of his belief is within the grasp of reason. In this case, the basis of his faith is his own lack of understanding. We're not a fool. He is therefore called a fool because he doesn't have belief because he has understanding. His belief is because he has no understanding. When dealing with godliness, however, which is essential beyond comprehension, there is no other approach. There is no other approach, as the Alter Rebbe goes to say. Relationship to the Almighty, who's beyond intelligence and knowledge, and who can nowhere be comprehended by any thought. All men are like fools to him before him. And they can therefore grasp it only through faith. As it says, I am a foolish and ignorant, I am like a beast before you. But nevertheless, Ani tamid imach, I'm constantly with you. Kalema. So after I've explained it, because I approach you as a fool and as a beast through the irrational power of faith, precisely therefore I am constantly with you. So the Alter Rebbe says, so that which gives us, what gives us our faith? Because we have a neshama. Same reason. Just like our neshama is above and beyond it was given to us Yerusha. This neshama gives us something that's above rationality, above understanding. And if we think that we understand it, then we have to get to work on our amunah to start having a greater faith. Because amunah is something which is above understanding. And because I come to God as a fool, so to say, and I say to God, I comprehend you. I don't comprehend, but I still believe in you, that everything is going to be good. And you're going to work everything out for me because I'm your child. Therefore, I feel the cows, therefore, even the most simple Jew, even a sinner of the Jewish people, they'll never give up God. They might give up a lot of things, but they're going to go on self-sacrifice to sanctify God's name. Al-Arav, in general, there's always exception to the rule. The slavlim inuk, we see throughout history, Jewish people, did it make a difference whether they were righteous or whether they were wicked? They suffered being Jewish. Inuyim koshim, suffered harsh torture. We all know that. Not to deny God's unity. And why did every Jew, most Jews, have that capability? Because we have the power of Amunah. We have the power of faith. And why do we have the power of faith? Because our faith goes above understanding, above comprehension. And we see that even those that are bored, means bored is like an empty person or illiterate person who is ignorant in God's greatness. And even if they have a little knowledge, they possess it not what motivates them. It's not the knowledge, because the knowledge is so limited. Jews have not given up their life because of knowledge. As bonus bavaya cloud, their meditation and godliness. And belishun das, Jews gave up their lives for God, for being Jewish, because they couldn't break themselves off from the Jewish nation. They couldn't ultimately say, we're going to give up God. We're going to give up our Yiddishkeit. They couldn't do that. Didn't make a difference if they were sages or even ultimately wicked Jews, officially Jews that denied Yiddishkeit and denied every mitzvah. But when they were pushed to the corner and they were told to bow down to an idol or to now denounce their Judaism, they said they're going to give up their lives. They would never do it. And that doesn't make any common sense. That doesn't make any sense. If you're not being Jewish anyway, what do you care? Belishum tam utaina umaina klau, without any reason or rational argument whatsoever. Why? Because of one thing. Because the one God illuminates umachaya and animates their soul. They have a spark of Oid Ein Sof. Every Jew, it doesn't make a difference who he is. Every Jew has a spark of God, and that spark of God is infinite, is above understanding. Oid Ein Sof. That's what's called infinite. It's above comprehension. We have within us a comprehension. We learn Torah and we do mitzvahs. We think we comprehend it. We're great sages and everybody knows what he's doing and everybody has a philosophy. That's not that spark of God. Spark of God within us has no rational, has no comprehension. That to God, not to us. It's above our comprehension. It's impossible to comprehend it. How did that spark of God came into my being? Because it's the connection to the Chokhmah. that's in this chain. So even though my soul has no chachma, it's in the lowest level, I have no great wisdom of God, but it's still connected because it comes from chachma of God. Shehi l'mayla das. The chachma, as we said, is above understanding. Aseichel musar, above graspable knowledge and intelligence. So here the Alter Rebbe says you need to comprehend this. We need to learn this and comprehend it. That every Jew has within him, even though in a reality, he's seemingly, what he sees, what he comprehends, he's an illiterate, non-understanding. He doesn't understand God, he doesn't comprehend the whole situation. But actually, that he doesn't comprehend, doesn't understand, that's his true essence, because his true essence is not understandable. His true being is not understandable. His true being is a spark of God that comes from the wisdom which above understanding. And therefore, the wisdom of the Torah is unlimited, and he has a emunah. We all have a faith that is unbreakable because you can't break something that is not understandable. So nobody can break it. Nobody can tell you, oh, but it doesn't make sense. You're right, it doesn't make sense. Because this faith that I have is connected to God that's above understanding. And that's the real concept of faith. Therefore, my friends, even those that have a great understanding, have a deeper faith. But we all have faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because we all, each and every one of us, it's all relative. My emunah is relative to my understanding. So my emunah is, I need a little bit of emunah. Actually, the truth is, for me, I need a little bit of emunah because I don't have great understanding. So a little bit of emunah works so far for me. Because if I had great understanding, I'll have to have a deeper emunah. Since I don't have great understanding, it's easy for me to have faith. Because I know myself, I can understand everything, and people are smarter than me. So surely God is above my understanding. It's very easy for me to have faith. I have faith in a lot of things. I go to a doctor, I have faith. I drive a car, I have faith. I have faith in a lot of things in life. I go over a bridge, I have faith. I get on a plane, I have faith that this pilot's going to get me there and everything's working. Do I understand the mechanism and how it works? I'm going to say I'm not going to go in this plane until I comprehend everything. No, I get on the plane. I trust people. I trust science. I trust other human beings. It's easy to me to have faith in God because I don't have too much comprehension. I believe a person that has great deep comprehension has to have an even deeper faith because he has to go above himself. A person that has unbelievable understanding has to go above himself. There's a famous story that Tzemach Tzedek, once a Yid came to him and said, I don't have a geschmack in learning. I don't have a great desire to study. So the Tzemach Tzedek said, what should I do? I do have a desire. For you to learn is easier than for me to learn. Because I'm really not learning. I have a desire. I have to break myself. I have to go above my desire and to want to learn, not because of my desire, because I have to learn. And that's very hard for a person who loves to learn. For you, who doesn't have a desire to learn, it's very easy. Just break yourself and learn. For us to have emunah is much easier because we don't have great understanding. So to begin with, we're lack of knowledge. We can turn to God and say, I don't understand what's going on over here. I don't comprehend what's going on over here. It's above my pay grade. I don't understand what's going on. I trust you that whatever is going on is in your hands. And I put my full trust in you, and I'm going to do my best in my capacity, and the rest I leave to you. That's my emunah. That's my emunah in God. That completes the Tanya of the day, my friends. And I think it's relevant to today's situation. We have to put emunah in the Eibishter and put faith in God, not in anything else. And whatever the Eibishter wants will happen. And since God is a teva tov lehetiv, God is a good, so everything will ultimately be for the good. And that's my emunah. Do I understand it? No. Can I see it? Maybe not. But it's not, I have emunah Hashem. I have emunah in the Eibishter. I have total faith in God. My friend, today is the first day of the month. Chodesh Shvat starts from chapter 1 to chapter 10. In your Tillim, start the Tillim again. I wish you a good Chodesh, a happy Chodesh, a healthy Chodesh. It should be a Chodesh that brings a new beginning to the world. That's what it's called, Rosh Chodesh. It's a new beginning, and may God start a new beginning for each and every one of us and for the world at large. And I'll see you here tomorrow at Mitzvah at 8 a.m. for the continuation of Chitas and the Chumash and the Tanya of the day. Have a beautiful day, have a wonderful day, and a very happy and healthy day.
You too, Rabbi. Thank you.
God bless you.